Hey guys, MegaNerd Scott here, and today we'll be reviewing Midsommar. This movie was really shot really well, and I liked the landscape of Sweden. Like, it was just a beautiful place to shoot in, and the story kind of worked well. And for 75% of this movie, like Hereditary, it worked for a little bit, but then it just got weird. So it just messed everything up for me.
What really got me though was when they were taking drugs. You know, that one scene, when they got to the village and they were taking drugs. So in my mind, I was saying like, oh cool, maybe it might be something with like
Psychedelic?
Yeah. Or maybe they're getting drugged or something.
Well, it kind of was almost throughout the whole thing.
Well, yeah, but it's just kind of like, I felt like it was leaning towards that direction. But then, after the effect that we started seeing, like, we started learning more about, like, their culture and, like, kind of their traditions. Yeah. I got me thinking, too, because it got me thinking, too, because then, I was thinking, like, okay, well, why are they doing this? Because my mind, from, like, watching, like, Hereditary, I was thinking, okay, maybe they might be worshiping, like a god or something. And they do this to, like, appease him or her,
I'm glad it wasn't another god again. Going in, I wasn't blown away by Hereditary. I know Ari Aster's style, and the poster didn't sell me, the trailer didn't sell me. I saw that it was 2 hours and 45 minutes. That didn't sell me. But we figured, there's not a whole lot else that we haven't done yet, so let's go ahead and watch it. But before we do that, they hadn't seen Hereditary, so we did a double feature. When this movie started, it's slow paced once again, but I would say even the use of cameras are just as good, or is if not better, in this movie. I was really intrigued. Like, once I had the understanding that I knew what I was getting into, I really appreciated, like, pretty much like the first half was solid. Like, I thought it was really good. The way they cue the actors to move and take their spot, and the crazy, right off the bat, her family all dead. Like, her sister, you get this, that, like, right in the opening, that her sister is, like, suicidal and bipolar and kind of crazy, and that she's worried because she hasn't heard from her.
Babe, what's happening? Danny.
And then it turns out she killed herself and she killed her parents. And then they go to this place and then they see the culture of the Sweden cult people. Yeah. And that once you get 72 years old, you go ahead and kill yourself.
Yeah.
That's just their standard tradition.
And they showed this old couple doing it. One fell and died perfectly, but then the other just landed on his feet and broke his legs, and he was still alive, so I had to go grab a sledgehammer and slam it on him.
For your Slashers fans out there.
Slasher fans, you'll love it.
All that was exciting. Like, it was gross, but it was interesting because you don't traditionally see that. Like, it was just literally these old people, they go up and walk up on this cliff, and it's a big ceremony, and they go ahead and slowly walk off the cliff. And her face hits smack dab on this huge boulder, and it's like a slow motion reaction almost for like a split second of her face coming off the rock, and it's just smashed completely.
When they went to Sweden, their friend was very hesitant because she was going through this emotional state, and like she was very vulnerable, which is something you have to remember for the end. She is very vulnerable right now because she's in such an emotional state where she's vulnerable to most things, that if she stopped something, that she'll pick up on it. And when they went to Sweden, they did all these drugs, like he said. I honestly thought that when they took the drugs, I was like, oh, I don't care if they die anymore. That's their problem. That's their problem.
One thing I kind of wish that I guess the movie would explore was kind of like the villagers' like lore. Kind of like what they believe in, kind of like like their beliefs and whatnot. And when they were doing that that dancing festival, to see who were like that dance be the last one to dance. Yeah. They mentioned something about like a dark one. How I guess like he kind of like brought like despair towards the village. I was kind of hoping that they kind of explore that more. Like their mythology more, because then
it would make more sense.
Yeah, that would be more interesting. Because watching Hereditary, I was literally watching this movie. Kind of like I was literally just like analyzing everything. Because I wanted to know exactly what was going on. But that was something I kind of wish that they would have explored more. Kind of like the purpose of being, what was it? The
May Queen?
Yeah, exactly, Yeah. I kind of wish they would have explored that more. Instead of, she was just some person who, chose, hey, you're going to die.
They do a lot of foreshadowing as well. Or some foreshadowing, not a lot. Some foreshadowing. Because in the girl's boyfriend, he's already having troubles with her because she's already in an emotional state. So he's just like, he's trying so hard to like deal with her, and he goes into this room that they tell him to go to in that little cabin looking place, and he sees a bear on fire in that room on the wall.
There's a point in the movie when
Well, I get
this
it.
girl in the cult really likes the guy, and he ends up they drugged him or something, and he's all kind of tripping out, and he goes walking into this cabin where he sees a line of a bunch of naked older women, and then on the floor is that girl that likes him a lot, also butt ass naked, and she just goes ahead and spreads her legs. I thought it was a little bit like unnecessary.
Yeah.
I get it, like trying to make it a weird cult, so I guess it works for that. It's just not something
Like,
I don't think a lot of people enjoy to just
like,
see or just want to see.
It didn't do anything to progress the story.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, it was just, let's just put a bunch of naked people in a room and make it.
And while they're doing the deed, they literally were breathing with him.
This cult does a thing where, like, if you're like crying, they cry too. It's very odd and like corny, and that was my biggest problem with it. That was just something that I would never have had in the movie, even upon like my first saying, I really want to do this. If I was the director, let's give it a shot. The first time I would have seen that, I would have said, scrap that, we're not doing that. We can figure out another way they can relate to your emotion or try to like feel for you in some other way.
Like a hug.
But the first half of the movie I loved. I thought it was great, and I was really hoping for this movie because I wasn't big on Hereditary. I was hoping that maybe he would change a little bit of things but it's almost the same thing, just a different story. I knew what I was going to see pretty much. I was just hoping to be shocked. Like, I wanted to be gladly shocked. Like, oh, that was actually really, I didn't see that coming. I really enjoyed that. But it just kind of went the other direction and just kept getting weirder and weirder as it progressed. Like the third act, once again, was just weird, and I didn't understand it, and I don't really understand the moral of the movie.
I mean, honestly, like, I kind of hoped the movie was gonna be, was heading towards the kind of dark kind of atmosphere.
I thought it was gonna be dark too. Like,
for instance,
I was kind of excited.
I mean, it's definitely dark, but you mean like supernatural type of dark?
Well, yeah, kind of like Hereditary.
Black magic or something?
Like, kind of like Hereditary, because, like, obviously you have, like, the demon, like, one of the demon kings, So, in my mind, I was saying, like, maybe Midsommar is probably, like, this, this group of people who are trying to perform these, these rituals to probably, like, protect them from, like, this other entity or something like that. And they would rather sacrifice, like, outsiders. In my mind, I was thinking, like, this is probably heading that direction. But then,
bam.
Nope.
Want to go from here to here.
It became one of those movies where it's just, I guess, unsettling.
Yeah, it's just kind of long, and the story isn't all there. It's definitely well crafted. And another plus about it is the music. I thought was really good.
Yes.
Like, one of my favorite parts was when the movie kind of opens up and you see the tragedy that falls on this girl. Her family's dead and she's weeping, and the boyfriend's holding her. And the slow push in on the window when it went to outside in the snow and the drums just kept like building, and then you had your opening credits. That part was great. That's when I thought of, I was like, okay, this guy is a great filmmaker, and he is a great filmmaker. It's just I'm not crazy about his stories. A mid-movie to the third act is where it like starts to unshamble and fall apart and go a little bit of a different direction than I would have liked personally. But I know a lot of people really like this guy and his movies, and he's proved to make his money back with more. So he's going to continue to make movies. So I'm interested to see what his third one will be. But I'm not in any way super excited. Kind of like I wasn't really excited to see Midsommar. Hopefully this third one that he'll do will be better. I would give, because of the craftsmanship and everything, I just didn't like the narrative. I'll give her Midsommar 6 out of 10. I really did enjoy the first half a lot. The acting, the use of mirrors, that he always has mirrors in his movies, like a lot of reflection shots that are awesome. Camera use, all that, really good. The music, just the story. Mid-movie till end of the movie, sucks.
I really enjoyed this movie, like Austin said. I loved the first half of the movie, and it just got weird. Like, if they just kept going on the flow with the first part of the movie, it would have been a really good movie, and like it just didn't work. For the weird parts, I don't understand it, kinda, but I kinda understood it because it was really easy to follow more than Hereditary, but it was just weird and didn't really set with me. I'm gonna give this movie a 5 out of 10. The cinematography is really good. It has nothing to do with the cinematography or the actors or anything like that. It's just about mainly the story.
I give it a 5 out of 10. You know, because to me, this movie was more kind of like, like walking on a freaking plateau. That was weird. I got here. Now what happened? Like, turn around, like, what happened? You know?
An acid trip and some weird murders.
Yeah,
Pretty much is what it was.
Well, I understand the storyline and everything. It was just a plateau, you know?
It was just, yeah. Expected something different or more.
Yeah.
So that's our review for Midsommar. If you guys enjoyed our content of almost bashing this movie, if you're an Ari Aster fan, that we mean no offense. The guy is great at what he does. It's just the story, personally me, I don't really care for it, and I think they were in agreement as well. If you guys liked the review, we got more coming. We'll see you guys next week. MegaNerd Squad, out!